So that is the problem with that. But let me see if I can allow you to, it doesn't give me that option. Let me see if it's at the top. Recording, that's me recording. Choose, record, optimize, add times. No, it doesn't give me the option to allow you to record.
No, so we'll
settings. In our settings, when you first come on Zoom, I think it'll allow you. I think it's a personal option that you can do behind the scenes when you're coming on to Zoom. I think.
Fabulous. Yeah, anybody who knows me and those who are getting to know me, I have great intentions, but when it takes me too long to download and then it takes me even longer to upload, yeah, it takes some time. So I'm going to tell you that I have all intentions of putting the YouTube on there. I will. It will be added to my channel, but I have not done it yet. So. Yeah, we have to. Yeah. Woo, that was good morning. We have espresso in the back if you still feel you need some. So, okay. So we're going to just go over a couple fun little things. Again, next week, I can continue the Zoom sort of format, but the reality is it's so much more fun in person because we're going to role play, we're going to do exercises. But, you know, if people want to be able to see and can't make it or don't feel comfortable, I do want to give them the option. So I think even though this is geared to be an in-person class, but I do not discriminate. I welcome all. So, but I really enjoy the in-person activity, so it's great. And the other thing I wanted to say is who took an opportunity to do our homework last week and practice doing the buyer-broker agreement? Anybody? Yes. Ooh, would you care to share how it went?
It went great, and Amanda Kennedy, my buyer, says, this is cool, but can you email it to me so that I can still do that? So she still wanted me to email it.
But you went through it.
But I did go through it.
And she had no questions and no negative.
No, because she was like, oh, this is good. When I did the whole move, like, hey, listen, you know what? We're not going to make you pay any of that. Her eyes got big.
Big in a happy way.
Big in a happy way.
Good. All right. Anybody else? Did anybody else practice broker-buyer agreement? Okay. In the past, has anybody else used a broker-buyer agreement? In the future, will everybody else use a broker-buyer agreement? No, that's the one I still have yet to put on. But let's get on the same page. This is my promise to you. All I ask in return, if you have any issues, just tell me. We're here to make this a great thing. Sign here. There you go. That is the broker-buyer agreement. Okay, but today we're going to talk about the buyer consultation. How many of you guys, I have a lot of people, actually take the time to meet somebody prior to your actual day you're going to go out looking at homes? Anybody? Tony does. Anybody in the, boy, it's like you guys might as well be on Zoom. Let's look quietness in this room. Okay, anybody doing a buyer broker consultation before, like at the same day, but before you go show the homes? Are we doing any consultation at all?
Yes, Cindy told me.
Excellent. Cindy told you to. I like that. So what I'm talking about is I like a buyer consultation on the phone. Personally, I'm a phone call buyer consultation. So guys, I'm going to share with you on the screen for a second. Share on the screen what we're going to get handed here in person. If I can move this out of my way and then I can see. Here it is. This is the buyer's consultation. This can be found in your hub. If I can get to my hub.
I've been using the floor duty intake sheet.
No, dear God, change it. Okay, under Ninja Selling, you see buyer consultation. It's right there. So you can download these anytime you want. I'm going to go to this version because it's the bigger version, and I'm going to hand them out. All right. Hi. How are you? Maria. Hi, everyone. She's part of the working group.
Hi.
Y'all know Tammy already. Hi. Okay. Fabulous. All right. So everybody have one, right? Let's take a peek at it. Now, the most important thing that we're going to talk about really today, and let me just make sure I have everybody, participants who want it. Oh, see, look, I'm leaving people out. Sorry, Dexter. Okay. So the most important thing when we're doing a buyer consultation or sellers at this point, but it's getting to know them. And I'm going to tell you the most important thing is not the obvious. It's the motivational factors that lie beneath. Has anybody in here read Simon Sinek, Know Your Why? It starts with why. Okay, if you haven't read it, read it. It's a great read. And most importantly, it breaks it down to the obvious to me, and probably if you think about it, obvious to you, but I can tell you, I want a 5-bedroom, 4-bathroom home. And what do most of us do? Let's be honest. Great, let's start looking for a 5-bedroom, 4-bedroom, 4-bathroom home. Well, guess what? You might have missed the best home, which could have been a 5-bedroom with a studio, right? Or a loft. Or it could have been a 4-bedroom with an office that could be turned into a 5th bedroom. But because we're asking the obvious questions, the specific 5-bedroom, 4-bathroom details, right? Features and benefits, because we're trying to find out the exact features, the problem is we're missing the why. So you've got to find out, how are they going to use that space? What's so important to them in that space, right? Well, how are they going to be using that? Because if you find out that she's a huge crafter, but maybe in the future her mother may come and live with her, listen, if they like a 2-bedroom, 2-story home, but they have a really cool studio downstairs, that could be great for her crafts. And in the future, you could always add French doors, right, to give her mom some privacy if she comes lives with them. So don't leave it to the obvious, right? Space can be easily manipulated. How easy is it to put up a couple doors? Guys, look what I did in here. Of course, that wasn't easy. That was John. But still, space can be manipulated. So we've got to understand what are their motivating factors. So let's just go through a couple of these. Where are you living now? That seems obvious. But here's the biggest question, okay? So somebody wants to, they're from New York, let's just say. And I say, Carrie's talking to them. And she says, oh, they're moving down. I say, Carrie, why are they moving down? I hear this all the time. Because it's cold. Okay. What else? They really are ready to get out of the cold. Here's the question. Was it cold last year? Was it cold the year before? It's been cold probably since they were born in New York. I can tell you because I'm from New York. It's still cold. And we still need to get our hairdryer out and defrost the little clock so we could get our key in the thing. I mean, honestly, that is nothing new. So there's something that is beneath the surface that's making them do it today, right? Like what has motivated them, making them cross that line to say, I can't take another winter. That's part of it, right? But it's the obvious. So when we say, where are you living now, right? Do you own a current home? How long have you owned it? Tell me about it. I still feel like that's a little surface. So if I'm going to say, where are you living now? So who's going to play with me? Let's do it with Miss Tammy. Tammy, where are you living now?
I am living in Pennsylvania.
Oh, how long have you been there?
8 years.
8 years. Well, where did you come from before that?
I came from South Dakota.
Now, why would I want to know where she came from before Pennsylvania? Anybody?
How often she buys and sells.
That's part of it. But the real reason I'm trying to find out, she has gone from maybe north to north to north, right? Why? What is it? Is it family that's keeping her up there? Does she like the seasons? What is it about her personality that's keeping her in a certain region? Guys, you ever notice that people typically buy by region, right? A lot of times it's family driven, right? Okay, so where'd you live before that? South Dakota. Is that where you're originally from?
Yes.
So what took you from South Dakota to Pennsylvania?
A job opportunity for my husband.
Oh, what does he do?
He is a stockbroker.
Stockbroker in Pennsylvania. Well, wow. This is getting interesting. Okay. He's got to be good online then.
Yeah.
Okay, excellent. Okay, awesome. But guys, why am I going so deep here? Why am I seem to be wasting time?
Building a rapport.
I'm building rapport,
Yeah.
but this is where I'm going. So what's bringing you guys down to Florida?
Yeah, his job's so flexible, and we really want to get warmer still. And so we said, shoot, why not? Let's come to Florida. We like the tax benefits here in the state, and we love the beach, and we're just ready for a change.
So he's still going to be doing his stockbroker work online.
Imagine. Yeah.
But see, I want to know if he's being transferred.
See anything?
I just got a huge opportunity.
Because my internet connection is unstable.
Right? That's exactly how that goes. So if I found out that, she may not have shared with me that her husband's being transferred. And if you go down the basic questions, I might not ask that. But is that huge? Yeah, because I also might find out that he's getting a package. And then I might find out that that package actually means he has to deal with a certain company, and we got to make sure that we're that company, right? So there's multiple levels that we got to look at here. Okay, so, so Tammy, you've been in Pennsylvania for about 8 years. You guys live, do you own your current home up there?
Yes.
Great. So you're getting ready to sell it. Is it already in the market?
It is going on the market in 5 days.
Okay, what did I do just there? Why did I find that out?
So you can get a referral.
Well, referral is true, but honestly, no. That tells me what her time frame really is, right? If she's calling me and she's thinking about it, I know where her motivational timeline is. She tells me it's going on the market in 5 days. I've got a ready, willing, and hot buyer. Love that, right? Well, I'm going to start looking for a realtor. We have to sell. What did it just tell me about my time frame? Totally changed, didn't it?
Yeah.
Unless I said, let's say you said, well, we haven't found one yet, but we'll be putting it online soon, when we get one. Or maybe we're looking to find a home first, right? You might hear that, right? We're looking to find a home first. Well, Tammy, that's terrific, so you're going to be buying this home cash?
No, we'll need a mortgage.
Oh, okay, great. So we're going to sell this home up in Pennsylvania and use the funds from that to purchase this next one.
Absolutely. The funds from that plus the mortgage. Yeah.
So now we're getting into finance, but in a conversational manner. I'm not hammering her. Have you been pre-approved? Have you been pre-qualified? Right? If you're coming from somewhere else moving here, do you own your home? That is the first pre-approval I need to know about. Right? No, I'm a renter. Fabulous. Did you already sell the home you lived in? Because just because I'm a renter doesn't mean I didn't own already. Maybe I'm even further ahead than you knew because I knew I'd want to move. And I got a great opportunity to sell my home. So I sold it for an awesome price. And now I'm renting month to month. Right? Have we thought about asking that? Like a lot of times we might know that. So I spend personally a long time on the phone. And it seems like I'm just building fabulous rapport. And that's the idea too, right? We want to make a friend. But I'm really trying to find out, who is this person? What is maybe making her and her husband decide to move? I also want to know, will you be leaving a lot of family back there? Or have they come down to Florida already?
Yes, I will be leaving some family there. My daughter and a son-in-law, my grandchild. So we're going to want to visit.
Oh, well, yeah.
And
And maybe get them to come on down. Yeah. So we might need an extra bedroom just for that guest room, right? That's telling us.
Because we know they're going to want to come to Disney.
Excellent point, right? Now, if she told me, yeah, we have family already in Florida, what could that mean? I have a cool bumpy thing right here. And it means that you tap someone's phone and they get your card, right? Sorry, guys, online, you can't really play as well. I'm sorry about that. But for a free bumpy or tappy, whatever the heck it's called, who can answer this question? Are you ready for this question? If you have somebody in Florida that they're moving next to, what could that potentially mean to you? Why do you need to know that? Referrals are nice, but that's not a tappy knife.
They may have a realtor that somebody already knows here.
They could already have a realtor. That's good. That's a good one. What else?
They may want to move close to them.
They may want to move close to them. We may have another person we need to sell. How often does it happen that that person, whether they're a realtor or not, decides to be the person that knows everything about Florida real estate? Right?
Right.
This is the person who we have to work with. So you were close enough. I'll give it to you, Tim. Tappy for you.
Yay.
I don't know what it means.
You got this really little nice Sotheby's little sticky thing that goes in the back of your phone.
Okay.
You program it, which I haven't done right yet. And then I come up and I'm meeting Maria and I say, oh, where to share information? Can we tap your phone?
Oh, cool.
Now she's got a digital copy of not only my business card, but my social media and whatever I've added to my profile. My picture, so I pick a good one.
Your Apple Wallet. No.
I want to put the Apple Wallet on there, but I think that's up to you. Like I said, I haven't set it up yet, so I was in process. So, okay, does that kind of make sense, guys? So we have to think about it beyond the obvious. Yeah, absolutely. And it could definitely be referral, for sure.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, referral. But I'm not going there because when I'm in a buyer consultation, I'm really focused in tunnel vision on how can I help this person, this family, what is it really that their motivating factors are? What would be their dream home, and the reality of what they could financially be comfortable with. Not afford, be comfortable with. Those two things have to collide somewhere along the way. She tells me she needs a 5-bedroom, 4-bathroom home right next to Disney for $200,000. We're in trouble, aren't we?
Yeah.
Because we have a detachment from reality.
Yeah.
Wants and wishes. So we got to work with that. But that happens, right? And then we go, this is what normally happens when you get to that part of the conversation. Yeah, if I could find one of those, I'd buy it myself, right? But now we talk about, well, I know you mentioned that you really wanted to be close to Disney for those grandkids. But when you say close, I mean, how often do you think they're going to come down?
Good question. 2 to 3 times a year.
2 to 3 times a year. So if you had to drive, say, 45 minutes to an hour to get there, that's still close, isn't it? I mean, you're in Pennsylvania. How far does it take you to get anywhere? Anybody's been in Pennsylvania knows that, unless you're in Philly, right?
Yeah, I don't think I'd want to go over 45, just because we may also want to go, and it might be something that we now, factor in our lifestyle. But
So 45 minutes outside of
30
Disney
to
could work.
45 would be awesome.
So now what do we just open up? Cheap areas south of Disney.
Right.
Right? That's why we do that. Okay. So now why would I say, tell me about your home? Well, tell me about your home back north. I probably wouldn't say it's so vague like that. What Ninja loves to do, which I think is great, is broad. We want broad. But I want to know, Tammy, tell me the top 5 things you loved about your home in Pennsylvania. What are the things you're like, I am going to miss this?
We've got it's a more mature neighborhood, so we have really big trees, and I really love that. We have, the lots are about 1/4 of an acre, and you can just get a lot of home. I know that's going to be different in Florida. This is a bright home. I really like a lot of light coming in the home, so that's important to me. And I really want 3 full baths, because I found that when we have company or whatever, it's just nice to have 3 full bathrooms, so that's important. And I think after that, I want to make sure a good long driveway is, that way when we have people come and visit, I want them to be able to have space.
So I'm going to stop you for a second. That's awesome. So those of you who couldn't hear Tammy, she said, I want a big mature neighborhood. I want a big lot, at least a half acre.
Or these are what I like.
These are what she told me that she loved about her home. She wanted 3 full bathrooms, so when she has guests, she wanted a long driveway for guests to be able to park with, right? So she told me she could be 45 minutes outside of Disney. Do we put her in Windermere with any of those things she said? Unless she tells me her price range goes into the multi-million, no. I'm not going to be bringing her to Windermere, right? So already, as she's talking, I'm taking notes. I'm jotting down not only certain words that she's saying specifically, full baths for guests, like exactly what she says, mature landscaping.
Which just eliminated Horizons West.
Which
right?
totally eliminated Horizons West. Exactly.
That's really important to me.
So we need to, and that's going to really help us, because she's probably never heard of the places I don't even know the name of, south of, like by Lakeland area, right? But that's within 45 minutes of Disney, isn't it? Point Siena, God help you. Yeah, that could work, right? Davenport. So these are areas you could say, and if she's from Pennsylvania,
She doesn't.
they don't know.
She don't miss
Davenport, St. Cloud, Kissimmee. What's the difference, right? If you say within 45 minutes to Disney, that's what matters to her, right? So that's the key. Now let's move on. Approximately how many homes have you owned in your lifetime? Why would we want to know that? Anybody?
Because if it's been a long time since they bought something, you may have to pretend like they're like a first-time homebuyer.
That's a good suggestion. So Teresa shared with us, it's because it could be a long time since they've owned. We might have to treat them like a first-time home buyer. That's true. But on the converse side, anybody else? What if we find out they've owned a lot?
Well, yeah, if they've owned a lot of homes, then they're probably not, their anxiety factor that they would have, going through the process, going through the moves. They've been through multiple moves before, they're kind of old hat. So you're not going to have to worry about, dealing with that type of a buyer.
So you have that, but you also have another big thing, guys. If somebody has owned multiple homes, they're going to be more savvy about things. You're going to have to treat them also with you have to keep in mind that you're the one running the show. Control is going to be really crucial. When it's a first-time home buyer, they're going to follow you like a puppy. They don't know any different. When it's somebody who's owned 5 homes, they think they know everything about home buying. They're a bigger expert than you. So we need to know that because we need to understand how their mindset's going to play into this purchase. Does that make sense? So, and it is true, Teresa, to your point, we do want to know if we need to treat them. Don't assume that they must know because they bought another home. One of the questions what was that?
I find if they come from another state, like I'm dealing with a couple that's from Washington State, and them purchasing something there was totally different.
See, one of these questions, are you familiar with how real estate works here? What our current market conditions are? Those are 2 really good questions towards the bottom. By the way, these don't have to be done in order for obvious reasons, but these are some great questions because exactly right to your point. One thing I will share with you, if you're from up north, everybody's single agents. They don't have transaction brokers. So they may find it really, really weird if you happen to be, let's say you're on a team and your team has the listings you're taking them to. They may find that to be, is that dual agency? Isn't that wrong? We can't, they may really not like that. You might be bringing it to your own listing, right? That's okay. So sometimes it's really great to say, I don't know how you guys do it in your state, but here it's so wonderful because we're transaction brokers, which means we are really focused on win-win for everybody to make this a really smooth transaction. That's important that they understand that because we don't want that to come back and bite us later. Because that's when they may ghost you, and before you know it, the offer comes in with somebody else. But will that be a problem? No, because we did a broker-buyer agreement, right? Now, those folks in Pennsylvania on the phone, am I doing a broker-buyer agreement on the phone? Anybody? Anybody? In person. I'll wait till they come down to do the broker-buyer agreement because that thing can be very scary if presented wrong. If they just read it, Lord help you. So we want to make sure that we give them the opportunity to be in front of us and we can do it in our warm, fuzzy way so everybody's on the same page. Besides, what is the chances that they're going to be putting in an offer virtually? We'll find that out, right? Depending on their motivation. But I would say, broker-buyer agreements, just sending them to them. If you feel that they want to buy virtually, if that's something they share, they need to buy it before they can come, they can't come, whatever the case is, then you could do one virtually with them. Let's go through this together. Just want to share this, is make sure we're on the same page. You do it the exact same way, but you do it via Zoom. You make sure they see your face, they get to trust you. As we say all the time, communication is 80% non-verbal. We have to make sure they see us, they trust us, they feel that we have their best interest at heart. Yeah.
A quick question on that. So how do we do the part if we show them on Zoom and we're Xing out? Because their copy wouldn't be Xed out.
Yes, it would. You're gonna draw all over it, upload it into .loop and Zoom sharing your screen on .loop.
Okay, so that.
And then you just share it for signatures.
That's what I wondered. Okay. So
Maria, we've been through that.
Yes, we did.
Maria joined us during COVID.
Okay, so that's what I wondered. So when we send it to them to review, it's already going to have the X on it.
Exactly.
Okay,
yeah, you want to make sure it's already there so that you can explain. And as you can see, that's been crossed out because we get paid by seller. Okay. Yeah, absolutely. If you don't do those things, those are the things that really tie them into that broker-buyer agreement. 0 for retainer fee, crossed out, paid by seller. That's the part that's really super scary.
Well, that's the fun to do it in front of them. And
it is. I love it.
You can't do it in front of them. So
yeah. It does lose a little bit of its wonderful theatrical display, but it works just all the same. Okay. So Kelly, I'm going to play with you for a little bit, Kelly Whitaker. So Kelly, so you said you owned a couple homes, but this last home, for example, I'm sorry, where was it again you lived?
In Pennsylvania.
Oh, you're in Pennsylvania too. A lot of people in Pennsylvania.
Oh, I thought I was continuing.
You can be anybody you want.
Oh, no. Then I'm going to start over because I had this over the weekend.
Oh, good. Okay.
I live in Washington, D.C.
Oh, D.C. Oh, interesting. What part?
Alexandria.
Oh, right outside. Beautiful. So what's important about that? D.C. and Alexandria are totally different. If she lived in DC, I already know her space is like this big. It's like living in New York City.
And her budget's this big, right?
Well, Alexandria is also very expensive.
It is.
So yeah, if you know anything about Alexandria, she probably has a lot of home, and she probably also has a nice home, big lot. Yeah. So, and she might even be on the Potomac. Then we're gonna really talk, because now we're gonna talk about back to Windermere. Okay, just in case. So just out of curiosity, how many? Is this your first home, or you have any homes? Have you had?
Actually, we have 2 homes.
Oh.
We also have a home, a condo in Atlanta, downtown.
Nice. You use that for vacation, for family, or do you use it as an investment?
Working.
Okay. Why did I want to know she used it as an investment? We could potentially have an opportunity of another option when she's buying in Florida to show her, well, we can increase your portfolio and buy your home, right?
Yep.
But she, so far, is for vacation, for family. That's nice. And what does that tell me too? She's
And
got money.
family, yeah.
She's got plenty of money.
And family.
So, out of curiosity, Kelly, are you planning to sell your home in Virginia, or just buy down here and keep that one?
We're just going to buy in Florida.
So you'll be keeping that home in
Yes,
Virginia.
yes,
Oh.
we will.
So is it a family home?
Yes,
Oh,
It
been
is.
in the family for generations.
Yeah.
Oh, these people have money. I love these people. I'm like, you're my new best friend, Kelly. Wonderful. Well, let me just ask you this. How long ago, well, it's been in the family for generations, so you must have purchased the one in Atlanta more recently, I would imagine?
Yes, we purchased it 5 years ago.
5 years ago. And did you know what you wanted? Did you buy virtually, or did it take you a while to pick that one?
We knew what we were looking for, but again, it took us a little while.
Well, to find exactly what you needed. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. She's just told me what kind of buyer she is, didn't she? What did she say? What is she?
She's a patient buyer.
She's experienced.
She's experienced. And what? Is she, what kind of personality type is she?
Oh,
What kind of personality type? They're a little analytical. It took a little while, but she's also a what? She's a driver.
Driver?
She's a driver. You guys said it, driver. One for you. She's a driver. She's going to tell us exactly what she wants, isn't she?
Yep.
She's going to tell us exactly how much she wants to pay, and she's not going to make a move until she's ready to do so. So that means when we want to set urgency, we got to make her think it's her. It's kind of like when you deal with your husband, you want him to buy you something, and you try to make it think like his idea. That's your driver. Now, my husband's not a driver, but I like to do it for him, so he
And how
thinks
do
I
you
do.
do that?
Call my wife. Call my wife. I cannot believe the monstrosity of presents in our Christmas tree. I'm the one doing all the swiping.
So the key with getting her to think that she made that decision, hey, Alondra, is really more discovery than ever. So when you're going to sell her something, so I know you shared with me that these things and these were the most important thing, and you would only be ready to move when it has this. So obviously, this is exactly what you told me you were looking for, right? I just used everything she shared with me, and I threw it back at her, because the obvious choice is she's already made it, hasn't she?
Yep.
I'm not making the choice. She's making. So if you have someone like that, you better get everything that they're looking for down pat, and why. And you better write their words down, because you can't throw back at a driver using your words, because they fight that back. They're like, I didn't say that. I wouldn't know, because I'm not a driver. Sorry. My husband will say, you said, no, I didn't say that. Those are not the words I used. I'm horrible. And I'm still married. 23 years of happiness. Poor guy. But the key here is you've got, now listen, if she was an S, right, the social worker, save the world kind of person, I don't necessarily have to use her exact words, because she's always looking with the bright eyes, trying to save everything, so we could just present it in that fashion. But that driver, more than any other person, needs to know it was them speaking. It's their thoughts. So you better write down the keywords that she uses, right? Okay, so let's move on. So terrific. We know a lot about you, Kelly. Mm-hmm. So let me ask you, in that purchase in Atlanta, I mean, how did it go? Is there anything you wish you could have changed about that purchase? The process, how it was done, you were happy how that?
Yes, yeah, it's fine.
It was a smooth transaction.
But let me tell you about this.
Oh, sure. Yeah,
And
you
I'm
would
an
do that.
engineer, by the way.
Of course. Oh my God, a C and a D, die. Okay.
So we're looking for a townhome. And years, my wife and I, in a couple of years, my wife and I will retire. And so we want to move to Florida 6 months out of the year. Of course, we want to be Florida residents for tax purposes.
Of course.
And also we want to be near Disney because we have a grandchild on the way. We want our kids to come.
Oh, how nice. Now, just out of curiosity, you mentioned you're interested in a townhome. Is there any particular reason you liked a townhome type of living versus a condominium or versus a single family, but maybe a villa? Why would I have asked that?
See if they really know the difference.
Yeah,
between a
exactly.
townhome and a villa.
There's
There's
a
difference.
lot of people, especially drivers, they think they know everything and they don't, because right next to Disney is, what's it called? Cypress, can't think of the name off the top of my head. Looks like a townhouse, but it's a condominium.
No, it's not the girl I was thinking about.
No, it's right across from Disney. It's like, I can't believe I can't think of the name. It's been selling since 2004. But anyway, it'll hit me later. Just because I know that area so well, right? That might be a perfect community for her. But I need to understand, what is it about the townhome versus a condominium? Lakeside, right? Those are condominiums. That could be good for her too. Why does she need, they feel like a townhome, right? Why does she need to have a townhome? So throw something out, whatever you think she'd say.
Well, I just wanted, multiple floors. So
Oh,
I was thinking townhome.
well, and I could see, certainly coming from Alexandria, that's very common over there. You call them townhomes. Yeah, here in Florida, we could have multi-levels. Could be a townhome, could be a single family, could be even a villa. We have some really interesting, or could be condominium. So,
Oh, okay.
right downtown. So now I want to know, you want to be near Disney, and I know she has money, right? I know she has money because she's already told me she's buying cash practically, right? Obviously, she's not getting any. Well, we haven't gone there yet, but she could buy cash, I'm sure, because she's not selling her home. She owns another one in Atlanta. So I would like to know, would you like to have more of an urban living, kind of where you could go walk outside, go walk to the restaurant, or do you prefer to have some space around you, maybe more of a private community feel, and then you have to drive somewhere?
The latter, for the community.
Okay, because in downtown Winter Garden, they had some really nice 3-level, right, townhomes that were about 800. She could have been a good candidate for that, but I just said darn. So it's important to understand the inventory available out there as well. Okay, great. So let me ask you, if we could wave a magic wand, how do you see this going? Because I know you want to buy something, and eventually in the next few years, you want to have that available to come down and live full time. But if I could wave a magic wand, do you see it coming up? Would you want to have the home today, start vacationing in it, or what's your thoughts?
I would like to move in sometime in January, first of the year.
Okay.
That is.
You actually just, there you go. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about what just happened. You just told me all of your motivation. You told me you have plenty of money, right? So even if she has to get financing, is it really going to be a problem? No, I mean, we know that. We haven't even gone there, but we don't have to rush there, do we? We know that she likes privacy, right? That's important because when we're looking at condos or townhomes, we know she doesn't know the difference, so it doesn't matter. It could be single families. It might even be something like a reunion, because that's close to Disney. They've got some beautiful homes. They've got some multi-level homes. They may not even be townhomes, but because it's in that type of community, a lot of the maintenance stuff is taken care of for you. And that might be the other question. So I probably would ask, out of curiosity, Kelly, also, is part of the desire for living in sort of a townhome because you're hoping to have a maintenance-free type of life?
Absolutely, it's very important.
So if you could get a single family, for example, with even a pool, but have it be taken care of, would you be open to it?
Yeah, that would be fine. She would find it.
Would you be okay with the idea? I mean, if you wanted to even have it as a potential rental.
Yes, I have thought of that. Yes.
So what do we just do with your price point? We just raised your price point because you just told me you could also rent it. So we could easily justify why we could look at a higher price point of things because it's not a waste if she's not using it all the time. Eventually, it's exactly what she'd love to be in a 7-bedroom home with, with a pool, right?
It's eliminated our county.
Well, and the point is, we're thinking reunion now, aren't we? That's exactly where my mind is going. I'm going right to reunion. So that's the key. It's all about the why. The maintenance free is critical, right? Not to mention, not all townhomes have the same level of maintenance free.
Right.
You know, they may take care of your yard and they may paint it, but is that truly maintenance free? Like, what does she consider maintenance free? Like, lock and go is all done for her, right?
Pressure wash the
So-
driveway, all that.
Out of curiosity, Kelly, if it was taking care of you in a maintenance-free type of environment, would you prefer to have a community pool or your own private pool, or both?
I think a community pool's fine, but I suppose if it had its own pool, I wouldn't be opposed to that.
So what did that just tell us? Now we can include the houses too, right? This is what we're looking at. Now, I would also ask you, in your current home, what is your favorite space? Where do you spend the most time?
In the kitchen,
Do you like to cook?
yes.
Oh, what kind of food?
Indian food.
Really?
Yes.
Oh my gosh, all those spices, I can't even keep up. That's amazing. Okay, so what did she just tell me?
She wants a big
She
kitchen.
needs
She probably needs lots of countertop space, right? Indian food, they do a lot of preparation stuff, you know, lots of cutting, lots of huge island. Okay, that's great. So I'm putting that down in my mind about, okay, where should I spend time? And just out of curiosity, where's probably the space in your home that you live in that you spend the least amount of time that just doesn't really matter so much to you?
The bedroom. We just, we only use it to sleep. We don't hang out there.
So
Watch
you wouldn't be the
TV.
kind of person who wants a gym in your bedroom.
No, I don't.
Okay, so we're not
Like your
looking for a
husband's
ginormous master suite, right? We're looking for a big kitchen. Do you like that open feeling, Kelly, where the kitchen envelops into the family room, or do you prefer to be a separate space? I would ask that especially because she's from Virginia. And in Virginia, colonial style homes are very popular, and the kitchens are 9 out of 10 times separate. And a lot of times if she's wealthy, which I think she is, they probably do a lot of entertaining. And she may not want her guests to see her messy kitchen, especially if she likes to cook and use a lot of dishes. She might just like to leave it there for, the maids to clean. But you follow me? So I would definitely ask that. So
Actually, in this home, I think we want it to be open. We see, again, our family coming. I'd love to be with my family when I'm cooking.
oh, wonderful. Now, do you enjoy formal entertaining as well? So you'd like to have formal spaces? Do you like to do formal parties?
I think this will be more casual.
Okay, we need to know how those, so right, we think of reunion, they have floor plans that are very, very open without any walls, and they have other ones that are more separate, right? So now, in our own minds, we could be finding the right kinds of floor plans, because what's the worst thing? When you send a buyer all sorts of homes and they don't like any of them. Now, you're frustrated because you're like, I just spent so much time sending you all these homes, you don't like any of them. But what's really bad is the buyer's thinking, you didn't even listen to a thing I said, right? Does that make space? Does that make sense? So these are some really great questions. Now, the next thing we're going to go into, any questions on how the discovery?
Just one more question following up there, because I have other buyers in New York that I've watched some of this. He comes down to real estate taxes and then of course HOA. So you can get into some of these places, what I find what they like, and then when I look at the budget, they're different. And trying to help them understand, or like you go on reunion or some of these that are all taken care of, and then you're getting into some high HOA numbers that they're going, no, I don't spend $350 and $400.
Remember, we're talking
So-
about how much you're comfortable with monthly.
Okay,
Now,
so
when we talk about,
when
we
did we
haven't gotten
talk?
to that yet.
Oh, okay, because
And
that's,
when we get into how much are you comfortable with monthly,
and then
that's the total.
yeah.
I've seen alcohol.
Right, no, but Just taxes, insurance.
They're 6 and 2. They go together. How many ninjas do I have in the room?
1, 2 ninjas. Okay. So for you ninjas and myself, ninja, this funnel looks familiar, doesn't it? So this is so great to this funnel. Let's go switch to the funnel when you're working with customers. And guys, anybody online, if you want to say anything, you're welcome to jump on in, share something, ask a question, whatever you'd like. Okay. So the funnel is a great way for us to help do 2 things. One, to me, the most important thing in the funnel is to set the expectation, right? Because what happens with a lot of buyers, now this is not going to happen with Kelly because Kelly knows what she wants. She's very determined. She's very specific. But especially some of those first-time home buyers or second-time home buyers, a lot of these people, millennials especially, they feel like they have to see every home known to mankind because they're missing something. Has anybody had that customer?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm that person.
Has anybody not had that customer?
That's me.
I know her. I live with her every day. So the funnel is great for those folks. The most important thing in the funnel, and you can see here, our goal is to help you find a great home and at the same time make sure you don't miss out on anything or pay too much. This is the funnel process. You want to see how it works. But the point here is, guys, we need to let people know when we're going to go see homes. These are we have to eliminate it. All of these other homes we're not interested in, and we've really narrowed it down so that we can use their time most wisely to see the homes that really, really work for them, right? So we're going to sit down and we're going to talk about all the different types of homes. And we're going to write it all at the top. Now, the process of elimination versus selection. If you make it seem like they're telling you what kinds of homes only, what happens is they feel like by the time you cut it down to the end, they're still missing something. So if we talk about homes that are townhomes, we write down townhomes, we write down condominiums, we write down single families, like whatever that would be for Kelly. We write down homes that are in HOA. So this is where I'm asking questions. Share with me, how do you feel about living within a community that has a homeowners association? This is when I'm asking those kinds of questions. And they say, no, I don't want one. Well, can you share with me why you don't want a homeowners association? That is a critical question. How many people here, I don't want one, and they just leave it at that? Like almost everybody. But the point is, the question is why? Carrie, why don't you want a homeowners association?
Well, I have a certain budget, and if I add on the additional HOA, then it's going to put me over per month.
So it's not the idea of having a homeowners association that's actually there to make sure your home maintains its value. It's really to make sure that you're comfortable monthly.
Yes.
That's critical to know, right? She just told me I might have created a whole wrong search for her. I might have given her all these things in unincorporated areas, and she's going to hate every one of them, right? Throw out another reason why you've heard that they don't want an HOA. Too many rules. So Teresa, let me ask you a question. Do you think there'd be a value in actually having some rules, maybe about the color schemes, perhaps so that your neighbor doesn't paint their barnyard red and their house purple? Or would you be okay with a neighbor like that?
Most of the people I work with, they say, yep, they're okay with that.
Yes.
They live in Maldora next to their house that just got painted.
So you don't care what colors your neighbors paint their home. You don't care if they leave commercial vehicles all over the street in their driveways. You're good with that. The reason you ask those things are that's what the homeowners association is there for, right? Now, I wouldn't bring them to Baldwin Park, for God's sake, where you've got there's all different homeowner associations, and they're like, there's a scapo over there. We don't want that. But there are homeowners associations that are not super strict, but they're there to protect the homeowners' values. Because as soon as you've got homes turning orange and purple and pink and yellow, that value of that community we know has gone down, right? As soon as they put sheds that are visible in their backyard, or God help us, those freaking ugly chain link fences. You might as well put a cactus garden out in the front. I mean, hello, people, right? But they might be okay with that. We need to understand that, especially because what do you think most of the communities that don't have HOAs look like?
People working on their car in the driveway with oil stains.
Trailers, RVs everywhere. Artificial plants with the cactus gardens.
Noise, lots of noise.
Lots of noise. Yes, thank you for sharing. Lots of noise. Or worse, this is so funny. How about those folks that like to cook their pigs outside in their backyards? Or worse, the ones who want to cook in their garage and constantly leave the garage door wide open. I see you laughing, Jennifer. I know you've seen it. Hunters. That's why a lot of people were leaving, because people were cooking in their garages.
Really?
Mhm.
I once crossing Hunter Street, and they would open the garage and play the music loud, like welcome.
Exactly. And there's
Culture.
association, but a lot of them over there also sometimes could be optional. Right?
So a lot is also culture. You know, we have different cultures in this area that a lot has to do with that.
Absolutely, which of course we can't really talk about culture because of fair housing. And NAR just came up with the latest and greatest of the new rules of fair housing, that we can't even talk about gender identity or any kind of sexual orientation, and we can't write any negative hate speech that could be construed as negative hate speech. So there you go. We have to be very, very careful. Fair housing is growing. So, but you're right. So this is why we ask about a homeowners association, and this is what we're going to include in our funnel, right? So it would be okay then, Carrie, to have the homeowners association. You see a value with it. It just has to fit in your budget. Is that right? Correct. So we're going to make sure it fits in her budget, aren't we? Okay. What other things are we going to try to really kind of put in here? You know, I know some people, even if you see a home that's a for sale by owner, we're going to put that here. We're going to check into that too. Why am I going to talk about that? Do I really want to do that? No. But if I don't, they're going to go to that homeowner without you, and you're going to lose your sale anyway. Let them think that you're willing to listen to anything, and you're going to narrow it down to what really makes sense for them. So they know when you're seeing homes, you've looked at everything. Right? So let them send you the for sale by owner stuff. Heck, you can always go knock on the door and see if they'll be willing to cooperate. Are we going to waste a lot of time with that? No, we don't have to, because we know all the things that are super important to them and the things that are not. I would tell you, you know, I make, and on the bottom of this sheet, you're going to see right here that I handed out. Guys, I have to send this to you. You've got the instructions for the funnel, and then it has features and benefits. Tell me what you want and why. And this is what we're going through when we're adding into the homes in our funnel, right? But this is the most important thing, the why. So what is the top, and they'll tell you right down here, you want them to tell you that it's on this the funnel page. I like to hand a sheet to everybody, or if it's online, I say, I want you to send me an email, both of you separately. I want to know the top 5 must-haves in a home that don't even show the home if it doesn't have. And then, just as importantly, the top 5 must never have, right? If you tell me it must never have a pool, and then you see that for sale by owner that has a lot of things, but it has a pool, I could just simply cross it out and say, you know, the reason I didn't show you that was because you had written on your top 5 must not have a pool, and that one has a pool.
Man, I did this.
Can't be south facing. You know what? If that's truly a can't have, you better write that down. Yeah, you better write that down, because orientation is huge. You know, if you want a pool, ooh, we got another opportunity for a tappy, which we're still figuring out how to use them. Okay. What is the best orientation if somebody wants a home with a pool? What should their front and back be facing?
East and west.
The back should be facing.
Nope.
East.
Nope.
North.
Yes, Carrie, you said it first. Pass it to Carrie. North, south. And do you know why? Because if the home is north, south, they have the sun all day long. If it's facing east back, well, the front door is east, right? Then that means what? They're only going to have it in the afternoon. But conversely, if it's facing west, worse, they have it in the morning. Right? Who wants morning in the pool? Like, you're going to be in the afternoon, you're going to be freezing in the, you know, right now. So north, south, if you think about it, for those folks who really want a pool, it has the sun all day long. How do I know this? I'm in new construction. I wish I thought about that before I built my pool. Anyway. Okay, moving right along. So these are really important. Now, when you get your list of the top 5 must-haves, do we leave it there?
No.
No, we ask, share with me what's important to you about that. Somebody throw me out. We're going to do a little role play. Somebody throw me out a must-have. Teresa, throw me a must-have.
A covered backyard,
Yeah?
a screen backyard.
Oh, hi, Jules. Okay, screen backyard. So that's great, Jules. Share with me how you plan to use that screen backyard.
I'll be smoking a lot when I get back from work.
I see. And what do you do, Jules?
I'm a realtor.
Oh, so I see you could be working all day long. Is that the idea? So you want to make sure there's no bugs.
That's correct. And also that I like drinking, so I do not need my husband to see me drinking and smoking inside the house.
Okay, so it would be good if not only it had a screen enclosure, but if it didn't have a big glass door there so that they can see you from inside. Is that right?
Perfect. Perfect.
So maybe just a little French door to a back patio that could even be screened in. How does that work?
Wonderful. With some blinds that I can close. Yes.
Okay, and we're going to add blinds. That could be a nice closing gift, the blinds for the door. Thanks for playing. That was fun. Okay. Anybody else have a top 5 must-have?
Summer kitchen outside.
Okay, summer kitchen, sure, screened in. So share with me, you know, the summer kitchen. What is it that you've been hoping to spend all day there? Do you entertain a lot? Share with me how you're going to use that.
Because if I'm outside cooking in the summer kitchen, I don't drive my dog crazy because she's worried about what I'm cooking, and I can also cook outside. So when my wife comes home from work, the house is not hot because she's in this time in her life where if it's not 68 degrees outside, you know, it's going to be too hot. So I can keep the heat out of the house, and I can keep my dog from going crazy every time I'm making ribs.
Okay, so really, if I'm understanding you, it's really so you have a separate space.
To cook, yeah. And
To
also because it'll be quiet. And that summer kitchen, I want it screened in from the rest of the back lanai because I don't want to spend time cooking and have to worry about insects.
Absolutely makes sense. So if I'm understanding you right, you're not caring about the home actually opening to the outdoors. You'd rather kind of be a little bit to the side. Is that right? So it's not so visible because you don't want your dog watching and going crazy.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's true. I just don't want her being able to smell it right off because she's going to be inside. So on the side and the back, I'm fine with that. I just got to have that.
Okay, so doors don't have to be all opening, so no nesting doors.
Right. They don't have to like nest three doors into one.
Okay, so what were we really looking for there? We're looking to find out how much does he plan to use that space, right? How much and how important is that in his buying decision? So do you cook every day or is it kind of like a weekend thing?
No, I cook on Monday, Tuesday, Thursdays because those are the days that my wife actually works in Winter Park. Wednesday, Friday's date night, but Wednesday she's in Metro West.
So 3 days a week. So that tells me this is a huge must-have because it's practically like a second
Half the week,
kitchen,
yeah.
right? Now, I'm going to tell you, and if I've shared this with you again, I apologize if I'm repeating myself, but if you would have asked me what the most important thing about moving down here, I wanted a pool that was screened in right outside my house. Now, my realtors didn't ask me that, and I built it after without them, so they got no money off of that. But serves them right. But the thing is, the why. Because I visited Florida in a home that we vacationed in, and we went outside in that pool every night. And I said to my husband, this is why we're moving here. I'm going to come outside, put the kids to bed. I have twin kids that are a year and a half at the time. You can imagine the reality here, not very. But anyway, I'm going to sit outside, and I'm going to come out, put the kids to bed, come out with my glass of wine, and sit in my pool. Is this a dream? Or is this reality?
This is 1,000% reality.
This is a dream.
It's a total dream. I can tell you how many times in my mind I've ever done that. But the key was, it was such a motivating factor for me. If they would have shown me that home and brought me back to that moment of reminding me what was about that dream, I would have been there anytime you need to. That was my trigger. Okay. So when we talk about neurolinguistic programming, it's about triggers. Triggering brings someone back to an emotional state based on either a memory, a feeling, a smell, right? So when somebody says my full name, Carolyn Pollock Prieto, I'm in trouble. I have done something wrong, right? We've all heard that. When everybody hears a siren, you immediately pull off to the side or look, you know there's danger. It's a trigger. We've all been programmed to know that that's a trigger. We all have triggers. So when you're working with somebody and figuring out their major motivating factors, that is your trigger, guys. So when you're with them and they're like totally nervous and they're like up to here with the decision and now they're like, we just shouldn't even move. Right? And have we all not gotten there with buyers, right? That you're like, you got to calm down. You want to smack them and go, come on. No. That's where the trigger comes in. And you say, Martha, remember you shared with me about how you wanted to let the kids to bed, come out here, have that nice glass of wine and just feel the Florida air around you.
Yep.
Right? What did I just do? For myself, I just got chills. That's exactly what, it's my trigger. I shared with you my trigger, right? That will put her in a feeling of relax where she can now say, you're right. I'm ready. This is the one. So that's the other reason we need to know the whys. We need to know their major motivating factors because they're triggers. And if we're not using them to help them, they can be used against us for sure. So there's another trigger with the area they like least about their home or the thing that they don't want the most in their house. So if somebody said, what do you definitely not want to have? I heard this one, especially working in new homes. This is such a weird one, but people, this is a trigger for people. I don't want my house to be at the end of the street where the headlights come in.
Oh, yeah.
That does nothing to me. I don't know, but there are people that get very wound up about that. That's a trigger. So if I get to a place where it's a for sale by owner, they don't want to work with me, and it happens to be at a T, I could say, I know you think this is the home. I know that it has a lot of those areas. I'm not going to use their words, right? Because I don't want to make the home better than it is. That you think you'd liked. But one thing I remember is you shared with me that you hated when your dog constantly kept barking because the headlights kept shining into the home at night. Look what happens here. You know, if someone's turning the corner, you're going to get the headlights directly in. Do you think your dog's going to go crazy with that? How are you okay with that now? Is it something we could check off your absolutely must not have list? Trust me, that's a trigger for them. They're gonna be like, oh, heck no, never mind. I can't breathe out of this house.
So I have one where these buyers are like, they don't like arches.
They don't like arches?
They don't like arches.
Okay, why?
I don't think they're drawn to the Mediterranean look. And so in their mind in Florida, they're my New York, I probably have violated all kind of rules and everything. But anyway, very solid. Oh, that has arches. We go look at a property that they found online. I go video the whole thing with them. Guess what the one has? But she can live with those because inside they were the straight, you know, like these, like they like very straight.
Okay, so did you ask them, what is it about the arches?
I haven't asked that.
Okay, this is what I'm talking about. Fifth level. What is it about the arches?
I think they like more modern, and that isn't.
So is it that it makes you feel the home is old-fashioned?
Okay.
Is it
Good.
so? If you found a home you absolutely loved, but it had some arches, would you be okay maybe getting someone to square out those arches?
Okay.
Right? We just opened up a whole bunch of homes that would have been close to that.
Right. Or the master bedroom connecting to another bedroom.
I don't think that should ever happen either. But,
Yeah.
you know, if you have a little baby, maybe you'll like it, you know. But typically in Florida, most of our stuff are separate, but I can hear that. But the arch thing, too, you have to know why. Because what if, God forbid, there was some awful memory that happened that had to do with an arch? They saw an awful crime underneath an arch, and every time they see an arch, it reminds them of whatever. You don't know. I've heard the craziest things by asking, just out of curiosity, what is it about an arch? I mean, to be honest, I never got the arch one. But I have had things that seemed kind of benign, and I've asked them that question, and it really brought them back to a memory, a childhood, a thing that they couldn't stand. And you're like, that's a huge trigger. Yeah. Oh, my gosh. Yeah. So now you know to avoid that. Yeah. Or if you know it's just because they like modern, now you know that you can share with them, would you be okay if we could get a great contractor in here just to square that out? Yeah, Absolutely. So there's different things about must not have and don't like, right? Totally different.
Yeah.
Okay, so when we're doing this features and benefits, right? And we're doing that as we're putting things in the funnel. This is our opportunity. The great thing is if you're, talking to them, it gives us an opportunity to distract them from the idea that we're pummeling them with questions. Because are we?
Yes.
Yes, but we're doing it in a conversational way. So the most important thing is not what it is, it's what about it. So if someone says, I want 42-inch cabinets, right? What do you plan? What is it about the 42-inch cabinets? Do you like the look of them? Well, no, I've got every, device known to mankind.
My wife hates stuff on the counter.
And my wife hates stuff's on the counter. So what if, just out of curiosity, if we didn't have those big 42s, maybe they were, 36s, but they had a huge, huge pantry that you could put all those things away. Would that work for you?
My wife would spend most of her time in that pantry, yes.
So that would totally work for you.
Yes.
See, we need to find alternatives as we're doing this, because as we're looking through the homes, it's very hard to find exactly what they want, right? As a matter of fact, if you turn the back of this page, not that one, the final page, one of these pages, it says, explain the concept of an 85% perfect home. If you aren't setting this expectation up front, now, Kelly, your people, you don't need to explain it to them. They've bought multiple homes. They know exactly what they want. But if you're dealing with somebody who hasn't bought multiple homes, worse, you're dealing with just an engineer. Let's put an engineer with an S. Oh, dear God. That means show 50 billion homes. No can doer. Know who you're working with. If that engineer, he wants to know everything about it. He wants to know all the schematics. He wants to know all the numbers, right? And the social worker, well, I'm just looking for a place to call home, with my family, right? I don't know if this home really fits. Oh, well, I didn't see the schematics on that. I don't know. You're going to be spending days and days. You know how I feel about that. Not good.
Yeah.
So this is a critical conversation to have with those folks. Your first-time home buyers. Carrie, I'm so excited to start this home journey with you, and I just wanted to share something with you that a lot of people don't realize. The truth is, there's no such thing as a perfect home. What we're really looking for is not 100%. We're looking for 85%. Because we can always get to the other 15% through renovations, through adding maybe stylistic things. That's why it's crucial to understand whether you're not giving on. The top 5 must-haves of top 5 must-not-haves. But in between the rest of it, there's a lot of stuff, right? So we have to understand nothing is ever going to be perfect. We're shooting for 85%. That is critical. How many people are like, this just isn't the home? This just isn't the home. And you're like, there is no home that will ever fit you 100%.
Yeah.
Right? Have that conversation up front. It's also the conversation up front when you go in contract with a first-time home buyer, especially, that you need to have about buyer's remorse. How many of you are having that conversation? Maria's like, oh, hell no, I've never had that conversation. She's like, I ignored that conversation completely. Don't ignore that conversation. It's a must-have conversation, especially a first-time home buyer. Could be, even a second. If somebody is a nervous buyer, you need to have that conversation, because this is how it goes. Kelly, I'm so excited. We've made this decision today. We've got this contract, and I can't wait. But I tell you what's going to happen. If it doesn't happen, I want you to call me, because I'm going to be totally shocked, because it happens to everybody. You're going to get home. You're going to be so excited. You guys are going to have dinner. You're going to be talking all about the home. You're going to be elated. Maybe even have a glass of wine to celebrate. And later on, you're going to be sitting there and you're going to start to get that little tingly feeling like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this is real. I can't believe this is happening. And then in the morning, you're going to wake up, and over your cup of coffee, you're going to say, we made a mistake. We moved too soon. We shouldn't have done this. That is called buyer's remorse. I do it when I buy a pair of Jimmy Choo shoes, because I like to go in and buy one and get the other one, right? And so I have that buyer's remorse. But know that we have spent a lot of energy and time making sure this is the exact home. So before we leave today, are you really feel 100% comfortable that you've made a great choice today? Close them on it. Yes, Carrie, this is the one. All right. So call me in the morning and let me know that it happened, because I know it does. I'll be looking forward to that call over coffee. Get them ready for it. Let them know it's okay. Give them the right to have buyer's remorse.
This class is already awesome today. We're not even done.
So what about if they tell you, now that you mentioned, I'm having
Listen, if you're sitting there writing the contract and they're having thoughts about it, stop.
Yeah.
Don't put that contract in. Don't put that contract in. As a matter of fact, the most strong close out there, does anyone know what that is?
The takeaway?
You already got one of these. I can give it to you. But it is the takeaway. Damn it. The takeaway is the strongest close. And it's because the feeling of loss.
Yep.
It's so powerful. So if someone is saying while you're writing a contract, Martha, which is a great point, you know, I'm not sure, you're right, I'm not sure this is home for me, I would say, let's stop what we're doing. Let's not even put this offer in. Let's not even sign these papers. You're at the builder. Let's wait. It may not be here tomorrow, but I don't want you to be mad at me that you made a wrong decision. And don't say another word, because the one who talks next loses. And if they say, thank God, I feel better, you are going to get a cancellation anyway. If they say, you know what, I think we're good. You're good.
How do you deal, because I have a seller right now who's lived in her home since 99. She's an elderly lady. We found her little one-story house last Monday, and we just put her home on the market, and we have an offer. Every time she talks about moving, she tears up. Like, how do you deal with that? I try to be very sympathetic for her. I live in the neighborhood, so, you know, I tell her, we'll come visit you. I mean, do you have any tips? Because now I've got to meet with her at noon, and the offer's $15,000 less, and she sees more value in her home than what buyers do.
So that's a great point, and it's especially difficult for the seller who is elderly but who has lived there a long time. So the point is, what was the spaces that she loved most about her new space? Do you know?
Well, I think it's just because she's downsizing from 5.
But see, that's the problem.
No, it's the back patio. Like, her new place had to have a screened-in patio, so she's.
Does her old place have it?
She has a pool and a covered area.
So you have to find something that she's excited about. That's where that major, you know, motivating factor. Why did she buy that home? You've got to bring her back to the place where she told you this is what she wants, right? You have to bring her to a trigger, because what happens is, first thing is, the only thing that can take away emotion is logic. And conversely, logic beats emotion, right? There's the only two things. So if she starts getting emotional, you have to bring her back to what excited her and logically made sense for her. You follow me? So you want to trigger her first to get her in a moment where she's like, okay, I feel a little better, okay? And then when she's feeling more open, then you logically go over it. And this is so exciting for you, because you will now have this the reason she downsized. You know, is it for her now that she doesn't have that big payment, or she doesn't have to take care of that home? She's going to get to travel. Like, why did she want to downsize? I mean, there had to be something motivating.
It took her 4 years to finally.
But what is it that made her do it?
Her health, because she said that her hip was bad. She said she didn't, you know, want to walk around a big home. She said she finally just needed to make that move and find something.
So for her health. So what is it about the smaller home that's going to make her feel better?
She's not having to walk around as much.
She doesn't have to walk around. Where's she going to spend her time?
I don't know.
Is she a giving person? Like, does she philanthropic? Does she give? Does she like care for others?
No.
She doesn't?
I mean, she has friends that she visits.
Well, I think the key is really, when you're doing the purchase side, it's finding out those major motivating factors and finding out what you can tie to a new emotion of excitement.
I think it's hard right now because she's got her handyman here that's completely almost redoing the new space. So I keep saying, oh, it's going to be so exciting, you know, the new color and your screened-in patio, and oh, you're going to love that space. But then she's got all the neighbors coming to her. Oh, make sure you get a good family in here. We're going to miss you. We're going to miss you on the HOA board. And, you know, she just tears up. Like, she's so emotionally attached.
It's hard to take that away.
Yeah.
It is hard to take that away.
In a season in her life, and you can't. It is what it
Yeah.
is.
I mean, it sounds to me that her motivating factor wasn't driven by desire. It's driven by need.
Right. Yeah.
And that's a difficult one.
Yeah.
So, you know, all you can do is, like I said, try to get her into that emotion. So, for example, here's a good example of a trigger. I love the beach. So when I'm at the beach, I close my eyes. I listened to the sound of the waves. I felt the breeze on my skin. I felt the sun. You have to be able to feel with every emotion. You smell the salt in the air, like all of your senses. And then I squeezed in between my thumb and my fourth finger, and I held it down, and then I let it go. I created my own trigger. So if I ever get really stressed, you'll know, because I'll be sitting there with my eyes closed doing that. So you now know my take. But it works, right? So the best way I will tell you is to try to practice that with yourself, because the more you can intuitively understand how triggers function when you're working with people. So when you know that this is going to be an emotional sale and it's going to be need versus desire, you can find out what those triggers are more easily because you're knowing what you're looking for, because you found them in yourself, right? It could be smell. It could be a smell that makes her excited. Maybe she bakes apple pies, and maybe that's something that you could put into the new space that's like some apple pie refreshers or whatever. Something, smell is very important. Why do you think we do cookies in the models all the time?
Yeah.
I sold a home 2 weeks ago because the seller had made a delicious dinner, and she was like, "Oh, I'm sorry about the smell," and she left. The buyers came in and they were like, "What is that smell?" And
it's a trigger. Smells are very important triggers, good or bad, guys.
Yeah, good luck trying to go buy a car without popcorn popping.
Mm.
Butter that's why you spend so much for a movie ticket. Butter it is evil. I did a study on it. Butter is so evil. The butter in the cookies, butter is evil. It is evil that burn that fat. It is evil. It makes us do things we don't want to.
So the key is, guys, it's really all in the discovery, right? Especially the buyer. So if you have a seller, it's harder because they're leaving a space. We're going to go through the seller's process next week, but the seller's a different process because, with the buyer, you can make it about emotion, excitement, moving on. Like there's a lot of really fun things. Sometimes with sellers, it's hard because you have that emotional ties with the family. We had a seller one time, which honestly never should have put her home up the market. Her daughter had an illness and passed away in the home. She never changed the room. Everything was she never did sell that home because emotionally, she wasn't able to disconnect. So she couldn't leave the house because it was like leaving her daughter. And we have to understand that because sometimes that's the reality. Right? Their emotions are too strong that they're not ready to move on. Now, she's taken 4 years. I'm sure she's ready, but it's going to be painful to get her through that. What she really needs is a therapist, not a realtor. But
I think we feel like that sometimes.
We are. That's true.
Yeah, the only thing we were able to tell my aunt is that we just had to keep congratulating her and telling her how smart she was for recognizing her need to move into a house that didn't have stairs before she fell down.
Was she a driver?
She was social.
You treated her like a driver because you're telling her how smart she was. I mean, that's really how you treat a driver for sure.
Well, I was wrong for saying that. I mean,
we're not wrong.
She got over that because that stairs for her. You said that, I thought about that, like because she almost fell one time. And she's like, that could be something big because if she falls in the house.
But she's not I did an open house Saturday and Sunday, and I gave her feedback, and the home is so well maintained, but it's not updated. Yeah. But the carpet looks brand new, and it's from '99. It's because it's just been her and her poodle. But I could see how offended she got when I told her. People said too much carpet. It needs updating, but it's well.
I have a suggestion.
Hit us.
So, you know how you can get a buyer when they're buying a home, you can kind of get like a little photo book of the new home, right? You can do the reverse and get a photo book done of her home currently. So that way she can have that photo book. So when she's in her new house, anytime she wants to remember or think about, you can put a photo book together. And just, maybe ask a couple neighbors to throw in some pictures with her in them. And then that way, when she's sitting in her patio, you can tell her, anytime that you miss your other home, you can pull this out and start looking through it. And you have them right here, your memories, right?
It's an amazing idea.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you, Nadia.
She's staying at Dr. Phillips, so everyone's gonna come visit her.
All right. Well, guys, I'm sorry, but I've gone over a little bit. That was awesome, Nadia. Thank you. Any questions before we tie up? I will email. You guys have the funnel, but what you don't have is this funnel process form. I will send that over to everybody who came. So if anybody has questions or anything they'd like to share, your homework this week is I would like you to do a type of buyer consultation, either with a real buyer, which would be great, or if you don't have a real buyer, do it with a family member or a friend. Really try to find out what truly is motivating them. You know, if it's just a friend, you can say, you know, what made you purchase your home? What's your favorite areas in your home? If you were going to buy another home, what do you want to make sure it definitely had? And what do you never want it to have, right? Like there are things that I'd be like, I never want a home that has X, Y, Z. You know, we all feel that way. Just practice asking these questions. And when it's like a kid, you know, the kids would go, you know, why is the sky blue? Well, because the way that the light reflects, but why? Well, because of the sun, you know, but why? We just don't want to be that annoying, but it's the same idea. We want to know, we'll share a little bit about that. Well, that's really interesting. What is it that you know, really try to understand, not here, not surface, 5 levels below.
Yep.
Tell me more about that, which is totally the ninja way. All right, well, thank you all for coming. Great having you guys. I'm going to stop my share. Thanks, guys, for coming.
Thank you.